Let's take a look at the 6'8" sophomore forward out of LSU, Tari Eason, a young man who shot 36% from three this past season on just under 2.5 attempts a game. And I think where he's going to have to be very successful in the NBA to complement his all-around offensive game is catch and shoot, pick and pop threes, where he made it at 35%. Now the form is a little funky. He puts the ball right above his shoulder there, but I do think the follow-through looks good. I don't think he's a guy that's going to do a ton off the bounce, real hard dribbles off the bounce, or off crazy movement coming off screens. You do see him walk into one here, just in rhythm, not a tough contest there, and knock it down, but I think that's probably going to be the extent of it. One thing I do think he'll have to improve is in the mid-range, just 35% on 26 attempts. You see him on a catch and shoot there, not able to knock it down. But if he can do this, which is attack an unsettled defense, again, in those pick and pop or a drive and kick to him, and then attack the closeout, put it on the ground, 1-2 dribble and pull up like he does there, I think that's going to be huge for his all-around scoring package, because he can absolutely get to the rim, where he finished at 52% on just under 250 attempts. He's going to attack Walker Kessler here in a mismatch on the perimeter, but Kessler was a big-time shot blocker this past season, and you see Eason ability to get there and then finish over him. Another thing he is definitely willing to do is play through contact. You see him play through it here. It happened over and over again in the film I watched, and it led to him getting to the free throw line almost 6 times a game. And then he can obviously finish. The handle has to tighten up a little bit. I do think he gets a little bit loose with it, but he can lower his center of gravity. He can play through contact, and then there he plays through contact at the rim and finishes in a big moment late in that game against Arkansas. Another thing he's going to have to improve is what I call that in-between, that floater game here. Not around the rim, not a true mid-range pull-up, but just 7 out of 27 in this area, 26%. So again, kind of a pick and pop, able to attack the defense. Not always going to look just super pretty with Tari Eason, but I think he's going to be able to get the job done. Here you see him attacking the offensive boards, doesn't get it, but continues to play, forces a turnover, and then a beautiful little floater off 2 feet here. They're going to end up calling this a charge. It's not, but that's what he's going to have to be good at. And I think there's some potential for a 3-level scorer in Tari Eason's game. Now, there's definitely some areas for improvement as well. So attacking Jabari Smith Jr., big-time defender, but that's what he's going to go up against in the NBA. Spins back, loses it, and then gets away from his body and gets ripped. He did average 2.2 turnovers per game. So I do think he has to tighten up that handle just a little bit. And then just going left in general, drives left, he only had 16 and was 5 out of 16. Finishing with his left, he was 7 of 28, just 25%. As you see, the nice spin move there, but just not able to finish that one with his left hand. So I do think he needs to improve there. In transition was his most used play type, and he did finish at 60% around the rim. So here you're going to see a little bit of a Euro step, and he is able to finish with his left hand. So definitely more comfortable going in transition as he catches this one, able to rise up and finish with a dunk. So that's definitely an area where he feels comfortable. Another thing he's going to have to get better at is in the half court, executing sets and actions and plays. There are multiple times you can see here he's supposed to roll as the other big is going to fill to the top, and you can see him telling him to go. There were multiple times in the film I watched where you could see his teammates get a little bit frustrated because Tari didn't know where he was supposed to be on the floor. Now let's look at his passing. I mentioned earlier 2.2 turnovers a game, just 1 assist per game. So in kind of that pick and pop, he's going to have to be able to attack, knock down the mid-range, the floater, but also attack like he does here, forces the defender to help, and then just makes the nice, easy read to the kick in the corner. That's something he's definitely going to have to do. And then if he can do this, which is attack here, and then really read the defense and make a nice dump off to a big, that's just an added bonus. But he doesn't always make those reads. Again, pick and pop, he's going to drive it, forces the help defender. He's got to dump this off to his big who's ready to catch and finish, and he's just not able to complete the play. And then in general, I think Tari has to do a better job just staying focused, engaged, and a sense of urgency valuing the basketball. Multiple times it was like this inbounds pass where he just casually throws the pass to his teammate and it ends up getting stolen or deflected out of bounds, whatever it may be. which plays right into the defensive end of the floor where I think Tari has to work a little bit on his motor. I know that's kind of a buzzword with NBA draft prospects. Play harder, sense of urgency, whatever you want to say. Multiple clips. So you see him here just kind of jog back on defense. He's got to at least get this guy boxed out, but he never gets in there and ends up giving up what was almost a putback dunk. There were multiple instances of this, and then these ones as well. So shot goes up. I realize there's only 8 seconds, but you have to sprint back here and help your team play. And as you'll see, he almost never even gets into the picture. He's still not into the picture as everybody else has made their way down the floor, just now coming in at the end of it. I know that making that shot wasn't his fault, but I do think there's situations where he puts his team at a disadvantage. Here we're going to see him catch and drive, again attacking Walker Kessler. We'll see the left hand come into play. Doesn't go to it, ends up getting blocked. Now I know Kessler's a big time shot blocker, but I think that left hand is something he'll have to work on. Look at this picture now and then watch what happens by the end of the possession as all 9 other guys get into the screen and Tari Eason is still on the other end of the court. I do think he's going to have to learn to play just a little bit harder in all situations. It wasn't all the time, but there were definitely situations where he didn't. His off-the-ball awareness and focus is something that will have to get more consistent as well, as you'll see it happen twice on this one possession against Penn State. Offensive player just ducks in and gets an easy post-up right here, even though he doesn't get the ball. And then it's going to happen again as Tari gets a little ball watchy, cuts in behind him, again is going to get inside position. And even though he doesn't come up with it, that's a scenario where an offensive player can get offensive rebound, easy duck in, and layup. And then here, up 3 with just about 15 seconds in overtime, and he's going to get caught again, ball watching, gets away from a shooter, going to get flare screen here. I just think this is an overhelp in a situation where you're up 3 late in the game. So he will just have to have better focus and awareness in those type of situations. This one's a little bit more of a subtle thing, but in transition, 5-on-4 here. He's got to be able to play both here on the weak side. I would love to see a closeout here where he uses that 7'2" wingspan to get a hand in the passing lane and make this a harder one more pass and then even follow the pass with a little bit of a closeout. With that said, you do see him go ahead and get a defensive rebound, and there are possessions where he's engaged, focused, and successful. Here on as a low man, he's able to help rotate over, stop the big guy on the spin move, and then he's going to continue to play. Ball screen's going to switch out on the ball handler, and a really good possession there from Tari Eason. Double team comes from the weak side, so now he's playing on the backside against 2. Going to read the passer's eyes, reach out with that 7'2" wingspan, almost a 9-foot standing reach, gets a deflection there. And then I do think there's some weak side rim protection potential. He averaged a little over a block a game. You see him come across here, able to get that one, and then he's absolutely can be disruptive in passing lanes with active hands. Almost 2 steals a game as you see him time that one up, get his hands, and force a turnover for his team. On the ball, especially on the perimeter, I really like his potential. He does get a little bit too open for me at times. I'd like to see him square up a little bit more, but even here as the offensive player attacks his high foot, he's able to flip his hips, stay in front, and then block that one out of bounds. I really liked his engagement on the ball. Even when he did get beat, he continued to give multiple efforts, and he didn't get beat that often. You see him stay in front here, and then he stays in front of Jabari Smith Jr. And then I did think at times, even though I questioned his awareness and basketball IQ, he knows Jabari Smith wants to go to the jumper. I thought he did a great job staying hugged up, not letting him dribble into one of those rhythm pull-ups on that possession. And then here, you'll see what I'm talking about. So he gets beat, but he's able to change direction, stay on his feet, get back in front, cut the offensive player off, and it ends up forcing a turnover. One thing I didn't see enough to have a definitive answer or opinion on is how he holds up in the post. You'll see him here against Walker Kessler in transition. Doesn't do a bad job, forces him to a tough shot into his help on the weak side, but I don't know that I saw enough to say whether it's something he'll be able to do at the next level or not.